Hi, friends. This is Wendy Harrop, and welcome to the Say Yes to Yourself podcast. On the Say Yes to Yourself podcast, you'll hear stories from women just like us who are adding the practice of saying yes in their daily lives in big and small ways, and as a result, are experiencing the truth that everybody wins when you say yes to yourself. Saying yes to yourself is a graceful unfolding, an intentional becoming of the very best version of you. It is my hope that in these conversations, we are able to find our truth and be inspired and empowered to live our very best lives. I'm so excited to go on this journey with you, and I look forward to finding a bit of our own story in each other's. Hey friends, welcome back to the podcast. I'm so happy to have you here. Today's conversation is a little bit shorter than normal. I actually made a mistake with the time, and our guest is in France. So I came out of my morning meditation to a message. Are we meeting today? So this should be really good, because I was the best version of myself right out of meditation coming into this conversation. But also, it's so good because we're talking about all of the details of the September trip to the Charente Maritime. So today's guest is Susan Hayes. She's been on the podcast before. She is an amazing, fabulous woman. If you have not listened to the episode, oh gosh, it's been a while. We will link it in the show notes, but she's just such a wonderful woman. She has a very popular blog called Our French Lifestyle, and she sends a weekly newsletter with stories of the beautiful experience she and her husband and 5 children have living in rural France. It's just a dream. A dream comes to your inbox every Sunday. It's so wonderful. She's so generous in sharing what her experiences are. She shares gorgeous photos. She's just living her best life and inviting us to watch her do it, and now has taken a courageous step to join me in co-leading a trip to the Charente Maritime. And she has helped me put together a beautiful itinerary that only a local would be able to do. And I'm so excited to add this to our 2024 France trips. So this one is happening at the end of September, the 20th to the 26th. Would love to have you join us. You're going to get all the yummy details during this conversation. And then there are also 2 other opportunities to join me in France. We'll be in Normandy, May 13th through 18th, and in Paris and Versailles on September 14th through the 19th. Now, the Normandy trip is for solo female travelers, and the Paris-Versailles trip is for couples, and the Charente Maritime trip that you're about to hear all about from Susan and I is for solo travelers and for couples. So everyone is welcome, and we're so excited to invite you into this dreamy excursion. So pour yourself a glass of something festive and sit back and enjoy this expansive, dreamy conversation with my friend Susan Hayes. My sweet friend Susan, I am so excited for this conversation. And I just want to preface it, friends, listeners, I made a mistake on the timing because Susan is in France, and so I just came out of meditation to a message. Aren't we having a call right now? So this may be the most inspired conversation you've ever heard on this podcast, because I've just meditated and hit record. So Susan, thank you so much for being here and for your patience waiting for me.
It's always, always, always a pleasure. And besides, usually you have to wait for me. So there we go. Swings and roundabouts.
Yes, well, I'm glad that it's mutual. We both think the other is worth waiting for.
Always,
Yes.
definitely.
Yes. So I know you've been on the podcast before and you have shared your glorious yes to yourself in adventures and living in all of these fabulous countries and doing these wonderful things and creating a beautiful life for your family. And I'm so excited that your yes, one of your many yeses for this year, is a trip that we are co-leading to your neck of the woods. And I'm just so, so, so excited to do this with you and to plan and know that it's going to be amazing. And so I just wanted to chat with you about what you're most looking forward to and what you anticipate our guests that say yes to themselves will experience with us together in September.
Absolutely. I am so excited about it too. It's funny because over the past few years, I think more and more people have been doing retreats, and especially to France. And so many people have said to me, are you going to run a retreat? And I've said, nope, nope, I will never, ever, never. And then when you first mentioned it, the idea, I don't know why, I just suddenly thought, you know what? There is so much I really want to share. And although we have the guest cottage and it's full, 3/4 of the year, but that's only a couple, and people come and very much do their own thing. They meet us, we advise, we help, we chat, we have dinner, we have wine, it's very sociable. But it is totally different. I'm not arranging trips for them. I'm just advising where they go. And but to actually be able to stay in the chateau myself with everybody and be on hand to talk to them, not 24 hours a day, but 17 hours a day or whatever.
Correct.
And to be able to show them the places that I personally think this is exactly what I would love to do here. I mean, it's like a dream come true. I am so excited about it.
Hooray! I am so excited that you're thrilled. And I feel similarly when people do farm stays here. It gives me the opportunity to be a tourist in my own town and in my own region. And we just see things in a similar light. We are filled with delight by the beauty that's around us. I think we both are in awe that we get to live the life that we live.
So you think that is amazing that we both live these lives and we can appreciate the beauty of everything around us on a daily basis. We don't take it for granted. We can look and think, oh my goodness, I am so lucky.
It's true. That's why my chores take so long, because I keep stopping to take pictures or just be in gratitude. Even when I'm shoveling snow, it's the happiest task because I'm not sweaty because it's cold. So that's good. And I delight in the work of my hands, and it's just so beautiful. So even the chores are a delight, which that might make me a really odd duck, but that's okay. I'm
It's okay,
happy.
because that makes me an odd one too. So there you go. We're peas in a pod.
Right. Like you take so much pleasure in your gardens as well. And I think the other thing that we have in common is that we love to share those elements, and they multiply the joy for us when we share it.
Totally, totally. I mean, I've been pruning roses. It's rose pruning season here,
Oh,
just
fun.
nonstop, and it's quite chilly, and you get pricked and thorns, but it's just wonderful. It's so much fun. I can't describe it any other way. Plus, here the birds all think it's spring, so quite often I have to go out quite late in the evening. It's the only free time I get, and it's sort of turning dusk, and then the birds are out calling, and I just think, I'm the luckiest person in the world.
Oh,
And it's
what a
just the
dream.
simplest job. Anybody could do it anywhere. But I just think it's fantastic. And to be able to have handpicked all of these things, you know, with you that we think that people are going to love. And then I've sat around the supper table with family saying, what do you think? This is what, you know, we think we're going to do. And these would be the ideas. And this is where they're going to go. And so I've discussed the ideas at huge length with them. And they've just said, wow, oh my goodness, it just sounds amazing. And that just, I'm so excited. I can't describe it.
I am with you. So you don't need to describe it because we speak the same language energetically, which I think is also something to highlight. You know, you and I love our lives so much that it's really enjoyable to go anywhere with us. So the fact that we are inviting people into an experience that is also amazing, and they can pull from our joy and our excitement and our gratitude, and it really does add so much to the experience. You know,
Yeah,
you mentioned our availability, and it's true. We are going to be staying on site, on property with all of our guests. We are opening this trip to not only solo travelers, but to couples. So there'll be a beautiful mix of really cool, high vibe people that are wanting a beautiful experience with wonderful people leading the way. And I so treasure the depth of connection that comes as a result of these trips.
totally. I think, you know, going right down to Jeff, chef, yes, he's a very good friend of both you and me, but he is also, truthfully, a Parisian-trained chef. He's not just somebody, oh, you're quite a good cook and you're a friend of ours. He is incredible and very formally trained as well. You know, I can vouch for the fact that he will, you know, he lives on his own and he will spend 9 hours preparing a meal simply for himself, not just once, but maybe 3 times a week. It's his absolute passion. And the fact that there is somebody so capable, but somebody that we know and respect and love who is going to be a part of the team, I think that makes it so special, and it makes it very I'm trying to think of the word. It's not like we've just plucked things out of the blue. Everything's going to
Right.
be very convivial and like a family, you know, welcome. People should really get the true French experience, but with friends. And I think that is what is missing from so many places. This is going to be really welcoming.
Exactly. And yes, it's true. Jeff does. He spends an extensive amount of time and care and precision into his own dinners. And he sends a picture of his dinner to
Yes,
me every
yes,
night.
you do.
It's
And then
so good.
sometimes he'll say, I'm just having sausages and mashed potato, but with a very, very, very good homemade onion gravy and this and that. And that's a quick supper. And then other times
Right.
it'll be 10 o'clock. I think there was one a couple of nights ago. And he sent me a text and he said, oh, well, it's 10 p.m., just about to light the fire and start making my dinner. And I said, our fire is now embers. We've had our dinner and I'm just about to go to bed.
Right. Yeah. So that will be probably the biggest challenge, is getting him onto the eating schedule of our guests.
Absolutely.
But he said he's up for the challenge. So that's nice. Yes, having Jeff be our chef is such a treat, and it's so special. And every element of this trip is curated with such care and intention that every single detail is attended to by someone who cares deeply for the experience, for the culture, for the region, for the guest, for the place that we're staying in, for the places that we're visiting. it's all just a cocoon of goodness that is not like any tour that anybody else has ever done or experienced. And of course, that's true because you and I are doing it. So, of course, there's not any other tour like it if we're not doing it. And other people have fabulous offerings. And I think there's something about the people that are drawn to this trip are drawn for many reasons. And a part of it is that they want to be with us.
Yeah,
And that's beautiful because we want to be with them. And when you come with that intention and you come with a knowing of, I've been following Susan for years and years, and I read her newsletter, and I just want to spend a day in her life. Well, here's your chance. And for people that listen to the podcast or follow me on my other trips that I've done or have experienced one of those trips, they know that they want to do this with me. And that's beautiful. They won't be disappointed because we are 100% in it and could not be more thrilled to have the opportunity to do so.
it's the it's also going to be very personal for everybody. I want everybody to feel that, if somebody wants to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and do a croissant run to the boulangerie, then sure, they can come and get up at 6 in the morning. It's not, oh no, you're the guest and you have to do this and we do this. I
Right.
want them to feel that they can be very much a part of everyday French life, as well as seeing some of the best places that I still love to go, places that for me are really, really special and a part of living here. I will go to a chateau and walk around the gardens if I've got free time. And these are the places I want to take people to, my favorite restaurants for dinner, my favorite places to go, obviously doing some things here in Bordeaux because the river is so incredible and it's very much an integral part of village life. Hence, the trip down the river and dinner overlooking it. And likewise, lunch in our courtyard here, because we want to welcome everybody and to meet our family and to be a part of our lives here, not just on the periphery, but to really invite them in. You're welcome to come to our home and be in our courtyard and walk into our kitchen and chat to Roddy. And if there are any children at home, I don't know if there will be or not, most likely not, but you are a part of our lives and we would like to welcome you here, not just as paying guests and you're over there, we're here. Very much
Right.
a welcoming circle.
Yes, and your courtyard is one of my favorite places to be. It's just, oh my gosh, it's transporting. It's such a beautiful space. And even seeing pictures on Instagram, it does nothing compared to actually being there and sitting there and having a champagne and feeling like your whole life is in front of you. It's
Yep.
just so beautiful. I would love to chat about our itinerary and the things that we're going to be doing along the way, just to give people kind of an in-depth understanding of what these days are going to look like. So I know we are starting in Bordeaux, and I will greet you there. We are going to have a fantastic lunch at the Intercontinental Hotel, the Le Bordeaux restaurant. It is under the tutelage of Gordon Ramsay, and it's an unbelievable experience. So for anyone that is traveling in, they can travel into Paris and train to Bordeaux. They can fly directly to Bordeaux. They can come early. We can help them with any hotel recommendations or any tours or sightseeing opportunities. What are any other elements that you love about Bordeaux that you would like people to know for where they start our tour?
I think it's a fabulous place if anybody wants to do a wine tour. Obviously, Bordeaux wines in the region are some of the most famous, if not the most famous in France. Um, you can either do the very, very famous domains and vineyards, which mostly are on the Medoc to the slight west of Bordeaux, or you can arrange a tour going towards Saint-Emilion, which tend to be more of the family run, smaller vineyards. Some people say they're a lot more fun because it is much smaller. So there's that to do. There is absolutely world-class shopping. The architecture is out of this
Oh,
world.
yes.
There's the wine museum. There is so much. I mean, I make no pretense about this. I prefer it to Paris. I've always said this, and I know many people adore Paris, but for me, Bordeaux is like a mini Paris. A lot of
Hmm.
things were also designed by Haussmann, so it's the same sort of architecture, but it is obviously so much smaller and so much easier and more navigable on foot, whereas Paris
Yes.
is so much bigger. It is an absolutely beautiful city. It's one of the sixth biggest. It is the sixth biggest city in France, and so I think it is an absolutely perfect place to start and spend an extra couple of days. It's a beautiful city.
I love it there as well. In fact, as a side note, I think we should do a tour in December for the Christmas markets there.
Absolutely. I mean, that is out of this world. Our son was at, which you know, but other people don't, at university in Bordeaux for 3 years. So,
Yes.
and he is not a city person at all. He's a real country boy, but even he just was totally drawn into Bordeaux. It's beautiful. The art scene is amazing.
Right.
Fantastic.
Right.
Beautiful city.
It really is beautiful. And you're right, it's such a great walking city.
Yeah.
And even when you tire of walking, the tram system
The
that
tram system is excellent, incredible.
it really is. And it's so economical and quiet and it's above ground and it's really they've done such a beautiful job in planning that and in making it easy to navigate.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, I think anybody coming, if you have not been to Bordeaux before, pinning on a couple of days, either before or after, and we can easily recommend hotels on all
Yes.
budgets. We've got a couple, as you know, that we recommend, and just drop us a message and we will happily help you, with wine tours, or suggest, we're not tour agents, but suggest where you go, where to stay, where to eat there. We're more than happy to do that.
Yes, yes. And that goes for every element of the trip before and after, wherever you're planning to fly in from. We are at your disposal to answer any questions, help you navigate what seems a little bit challenging for you. We just want this to be a very easy yes. And then you just get to sit back and enjoy your fabulous life. And we will whisk you from one delightful adventure to the next. And you don't even have to worry about what time it is or what you're supposed to be doing because we will let you know. And you can also decide, I desire to stay in bed today and eat croissant. And you can totally do that while we go off on our grand adventure.
Totally, totally. It's all about you having the best time imaginable. These are all the places we want to take you because we think they're fabulous. And I think we have both tried to make sure that, even though that it's busy and it's a full-on schedule, that there will be some downtime, which I
Yes,
think is why we've said, okay, dinner one night at the Chateau, dinner one night in a restaurant, next night Chateau, next night restaurant, because sometimes it's quite nice to have dinner at the Chateau so that people can come back after a day out. There'll be time to swim because there are 2 swimming pools. You can
yes,
swim, you can relax, you can have a glass of champagne, you can wander around the grounds, you can have a sleep, you can read a book, you can do whatever you want, or you can just sit and chat. But I think some downtime just to, or maybe, have a video call with somebody back home, or
exactly.
it's important. Go through your photos. I think sometimes it can just all be a bit too frenetic. So we've tried to key in a little bit of both. And I think both you and I said one evening at the Chateau would be fun to do some apéros and people can taste different wines or rosés and compare them. I thought maybe
Yes.
we ought to, I haven't even discussed this with you, but maybe
The answer is yes.
do a
You're
baguette
full of good
tasting,
ideas.
and everybody can, taste.
Oh, a baguette tasting?
It's so much fun.
It is so fun.
And, so maybe that could be a little with aperitifs again. 5 baguettes from 5 different boulangeries. You don't know which one they're from, different dips, different things you can taste them with. And it's amazing how no one baguette is the same. Even if you get the same type of baguette, because there are lots of different types, they're not the same from each boulangerie. And it's a really interesting thing to do. And we also said another evening, maybe it would be fun to invite 1 or 2 other local expats that have made their lives here permanently and have a little cocktail party.
Yes.
I'm all up for a little
Brilliant.
cocktail party with a few,
I
and
love
people
it.
can meet some other people and talk to people that have actually, not that we're suggesting you have to move here or make your life here, but I always think it's so interesting speaking to people that have moved around the world and lived in other places. I think that's so wonderful just to get this interaction with other people.
Right. And there is something about this particular region. Obviously, it has stolen your heart. It has definitely stolen my heart as well. And there's nothing that says our lovely guests that join us on this retreat are not going to be thinking, I can see myself living here as well. So it's beautiful to have that opportunity to talk to someone who's actually done it. And also, it gives them an opportunity to get to know you and you to know them. And that's part of your services is house hunting for people that are looking to relocate. So it all just makes beautiful, perfect sense. And I'm super excited about that part as well.
Yeah, me too. I think that's a really exciting part for everybody, just to feel like they're at home, but they're having a cocktail party in a beautiful chateau in France. I mean, that alone is everybody's dream,
Right.
surely.
As one does.
Yeah, exactly.
It is so good. And then we will also be spending a day on Ile De Re. So say more about that beautiful excursion. Of course, I've done that already with you on a former tour, and it was so dreamy, but I just love the way that you talk about this place. I think it's one of your favorites.
Oh, it is. It is. So the Ile de Re is about 3/4 of an hour to an hour north of us. It's just off La Rochelle. You take a bridge across. It's just over 2 kilometers, 2.6, I believe, across the bridge to the Ile de Re. The Ile de Re is it's incredibly exclusive place. A little 2-bedroom cottage will cost you 1 million. But even though it is very exclusive, I sort of think of it as the Côte d'Azur without the bling. It's not unapproachable. You're not going to see people, you might, but most people are not walking around in stilettos, and most people are in boat shoes and shorts or a sundress and sneakers. It's really laid back. The best mode of transport is the bicycle, but obviously you can go everywhere by car as well. It is the most beautiful island with stunning shops, great restaurants, but everything is very authentic, even despite the crowds, and it is busy. It's just a wonderful place to go. And we've said, people are free to do whatever they want there. We will guide them. There's a fabulous market in the first place we will stop at. People can join us for lunch if they would like to. If they don't want to, that's fine. Because some people like to go other places, the market, explore. I know when we were there last time, some people like to walk around the old castle and look around, the more of the historic places, where other people want to sit in a cafe and watch the world go by. It's very much do what you want. And if somebody wants to rent a bike, which is how we always go there with our family, we rent bikes. It's easier than taking our own and it's inexpensive. And we just cycle and go to huge parts of the island you can cover on a bike. It's mostly flat, cycle paths everywhere. And there are plenty of places where you can't go by car. So if anybody wants to rent a bike, we will cover the cost of the rental, do that in advance. And I will happily take people off on a cycle tour if that's what they want to do. And we'll go somewhere else for lunch. It's very much adapted to what everybody wants to do.
Right.
It's a magical place. And then we said we'll have dinner in La Rochelle on the way home, which is also a beautiful city.
I'm
So
so
it's going to be
excited.
an amazing day out.
Yay, yay. And then we are going to have a day in Saint and do the market. And then Jeff will create an amazing dinner based on the finds from the market that day. But tell everyone a little bit about that city and what that day looks like, because you do that almost weekly.
Yeah, so Saint is 10 minutes away from where we live, so about 15 minutes from the Chateau. It's a very, very historic city that dates back to Roman times. I think its first 2 AD is its first formal dates for things. It has the best preserved Roman amphitheatre. Well, I was going to say in Europe, but obviously there aren't any elsewhere anyway. So in the world, which is actually, it's still, unfortunately, it's being completely renovated at the moment. It cost, I think it's 6 million. And that won't be finished for another couple of years, but it is still spectacular. It has a Roman arch on the riverside. So Saint is set on the river Charente. You've got 2 sides. We have Galerie Lafayette, Parisian department store, lots of beautiful little artisanal shops, raconte shops, pedestrianized areas, 2 cathedrals, and the market is set just beside one of the cathedrals, the Église Saint-Pierre, and all fresh produce. There's also an indoor section, but just wonderful to wander around, experience it, pop off, have a coffee. It's all pedestrianized, so you're quite safe. And then I thought we would have lunch in Saint. People can go to some raconte shops during the morning, because, you know, they probably don't want to spend all morning walking around looking at fruit and veg. But go and have a coffee, come back. There are lots of little stores to wander around. We'll meet for lunch. And then Jeff can cook with various fresh produce from the day that we bought that day. It's a really magical city. It's very, very pretty and so much history.
Yes, I'm so excited. And he is also available for any cooking tutorials. If anybody wants to join him in the kitchen, he is happy to share his knowledge and magic, which must be shared with the world. We are working on a cookbook project, and it's going a little more slowly than I would like, but I am leaning to what his comfort level is. But these experiences and having people in the kitchen with him is such a great reminder to him of the magic that he produces. And so I'm really excited about learning more from him as
And
well.
he's a fabulous cook. I mean, he's taught our 2 girls when they were much younger, our 2 youngest. I think they were 9 and 10 at the time. And he was so patient and so good at teaching them. Yeah. They loved being with him. So yeah, he's an excellent teacher as well. And I know
he is.
Enjoy having people in the kitchen with him and showing them what he's making and what he's doing. So that's another thing that, you know, is just an extra that people can do, which I think is really special.
Right, right. And he does teach all skill levels. He taught Amelia to make vegetable soup when she was 2. He's her godfather. And I have beautiful videos of him teaching her to make soup. And she's great.
Mean, like he taught Hetty and Gigi when they were 9 and 10 to debone and stuff a chicken. I mean, they had never done anything like that before.
Right. He's amazing.
Never done anything like that again either, but they did learn it, and how to make puff pastry and cheese straws, which is a little bit more probably their level, but so patient, incredible.
Yes, he is. Okay, we are also going to do a river cruise, which you mentioned. Now, this is not something I've done before, so say more about that.
So the boat starts in Saint, it comes all the way. The River Charente was a really, really important river back in the days before cars, because it would take stone. The Charentaise stone is very, very famous. In fact, it was given to the Americans by a gift from France, and Charente stone is used in the base of the Statue of Liberty.
Yes.
And also a lot of Versailles was built using Charente stone. So stone would be taken downriver to the sea, onto ferries, also cognac, because obviously it's famous cognac region and wine growing region. So the river was incredibly important, and further down for salt. And many big houses were built alongside the river, beautiful big houses, but you really can't see unless you're on the river looking back at them. So we're going to do a river tour from Saintes all the way down the river, past our village here and on to Saint-Savinien, which is another beautiful little town.
Yes.
You can't go any further because there you get to the locks, and it gets quite complicated nowadays, which they have put in place to control flooding. And then it will turn around and come back and then drop everybody off here at Port d'Envaux. We have a dock on the river for the village. And then people will walk through the village and to l'Amarante restaurant, where dinner will be served. Hopefully the weather is good, outside on the terrace overlooking the river. It's an absolute 5-star superb restaurant.
Fantastic. And of course the weather will be good.
Of course it will.
It's us. It has no option but to be fabulous and perfect in every way. Okay, and you have also arranged for a really, really special day of making jewelry. Tell us more.
This is something that is equally unique and really, really exciting. So this is, again, an expat couple who have bought the most beautiful chateau near Cognac. It has been exquisitely renovated, including huge gardens and grounds, beautiful swimming pool. And she is a professionally trained jeweler, silversmith, trained in the UK. And she has converted some of the outbuildings into proper studios. They are beautifully finished, each with individual desks and working tables. And the courses with her, in the morning, I quite like the idea of the botanical course, where people go around the gardens and they choose flowers and botanicals they like, and then they make their own piece of jewelry based on things they have chosen in the garden. Be silver jewelry, lunch is included, cocktail, cognac cocktail at the end of the day. And they will, it doesn't matter, I've never made a piece of jewelry in my life. Many people haven't. The jewelry will be polished, it will be fired in the kiln, very, very professional, but you will make your own piece of jewelry, whether you want a necklace, a pair of earrings, a bracelet, a ring, and you will be able to take that away with you. I mean, the most memorable souvenir of any trip that you have made in this, and you're free to walk around the grounds of the chateau and totally experience this completely immersive day. Fantastic. I'm so excited about this.
Oh, I am too.
My
That's
girls are very
amazing.
jealous. They've begged me to let them do it beforehand as well. I said, we want to do this.
Right. Well, maybe we need a test run to make
That's
sure
what
it's as fabulous as we think it's going to be.
You can do a test run. I'll pay if you do a test run.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. I'm really, really excited. It's going to be so fabulous. And I'm still working out the final details, but what's in mind is we will do a beautiful private tour and tasting at the chateau that creates Citadel Gin. It was the first gin to be distilled in France. He was a cognac distiller and petitioned the French government every year for 7 years until they said yes, to see if he could use the distillery equipment to make gin, because you can only distill cognac between January 1st and April 1st. And then the whole rest of the year, all of your equipment is just sitting, waiting for January to come. And so he was finally granted permission and makes the most exquisite, beautiful, inventive products. He is also creating different rums and is just a fantastic artist in the beautiful concoctions that they are creating there. And I did a private tour and tasting last year, and it was dreamy and unbelievable. So I'm super excited to take people there. I often use their gin on Favorite Fridays when I'm mixing up a cocktail on Instagram, and they have just become really treasured supporters of my work, and I of theirs. So I'm really thrilled to include Maison Ferrand on our trip. And then you had some ideas to do some brocantes on the way back, and lunch in Cognac, and just the rest of a dreamy day.
Yeah, totally. I've got some American friends who have bought a holiday home here, and they did the Citadel gin tasting trip and said it was absolutely out of this world. Just fantastic. So I think that, and then lunch in Cognac, another very historic, beautiful, much smaller city, but great fun. And then an afternoon of brocanting, because everybody needs to find a few vintage treasures to take home with them as well. And while on that, we will, of course, arrange shipping, and we can arrange to ship anything that you buy here.
Oh, that's so generous of you. Thank you so much. Just the navigating of how in the world to do that is worth any additional charge, to not have to worry about getting that in my suitcase, or
Exactly.
how I'm going to enjoy this at my home.
Definitely, because some things are heavy, and if you've got to add everything to your suitcase, and then you're thinking, oh my goodness, my baggage allowance, or I've got to go and buy an extra suitcase, or whatever. So yeah, we can box things up and ship them back to you.
Right. Or if you're like me and purchase a vintage bottle rack, there is no suitcase that's going to fit in, but it arrived perfectly under Roddy's careful eye of packaging so well and boxing that up for me. So I can attest that that is a great option that you provide. Thank you so much. So I just want to give the details for this goodness. This is happening in September. The trip is from the 20th to the 26th. We have links to all of the details in the show notes. And again, this trip is open to solo travelers or couples. You can bring your friends, you can bring your partner, you can bring anyone that you desire, or you can come by yourself. And we are so excited to have you. We are limiting this trip to only 10 guests, and we will be using both the Chateau and the beautiful mansion that is on the property, both close to each other. So that's why we have two fabulous swimming pools and gorgeous outdoor living spaces and 75 acres of parkland. It's such a stunning property. I loved staying there last time, and I can't wait to be there again.
Yeah, and the chateau and the mansion are literally a stone's throw from each other,
Yes.
both in the same complex. And we must just add that we do have a tour of a chateau, a completely private tour of the gardens and grounds, which I think some interior chateau tours can be quite boring. I've done a few with a guide, and you sort of think, why am I doing this? But I think a private one is completely different, and people can ask questions and do what they want, and it will be truly spectacular.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I mean, we all just want to look inside. That's just how it is.
We do, exactly. But unfortunately, some guided tours, when you go with 20 or 30 other people, can get a little bit monotonous. So to be able to look around privately inside, I think will be so much more fun.
Oh, it's so fun. Oh my goodness. Okay, so friends, if you have any additional questions that we did not answer here, we welcome them. Send a DM to either Susan or I. All of our links are in the show notes. You can send me an email, send Susan an email. Susan, tell everyone where they can find and follow you and get more information about this trip as well, please.
Sure, you can follow me on Instagram at Our French Oasis. You can follow me on the website, www.ourfrenchlifestyle.com, or you can send me an email. The links are on both Instagram and the website, but it is very simple, frenchlife17@gmail.com.
Perfect.
Again, frenchlife17 as in 17 at gmail.com. Send me a private message, send me an email. I'm really happy to chat, just like Wendy is, answer any questions, and most of all, offer advice. I'm really happy to offer advice on bits of help we can do with travel or anything. If we can help make life easier, we will. We've traveled a lot. We know France, we know other areas of France. Help you make this trip super special.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. This is how I would love to start every morning, and I'm excited that I'll get to start 6 of them in a row with you coming up in September.
To be staying there and actually staying there, I think is going to be so much fun. It'll be,
my gosh.
Yeah, really special.
I'm so excited. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Loved it. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. As always, any links or notes mentioned can be found at phineaswrighthouse.com in the podcast section of our site or in the show notes below. And if you haven't connected with me personally, come find me on Instagram at Phineas Wright House and let me know you listened to this episode. I'd love to get to know you. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I know your days are full, and I'm really grateful that you chose to spend some of your precious time right here. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any of these delightful conversations. I'll see you next week.